What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Man, I hope you guys had a great Christmas or holiday or anything you celebrated. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It was mostly just spending time with family. Got a few smaller things, but it was mostly, I realized as you get a little older and you have a kid, usually you just end up buying a lot of stuff, and that ended up being my role. But I still got some cool stuff, got stands for my monitors and everything. So I really enjoyed it, and more than anything else, it was kind of a day to relax and just hang out. So that was great. I really like that. Usually I'm pretty busy, but a day where nothing's happening, I could just hang out. Loved it. But we did have some news that happened over the weekend, a little bit on Christmas Eve, some on Christmas, but I wanted to go over some of it with you, including this interesting sighting on the Italy's version of Nintendo's website that talked about the online service coming out in the fall. We're going to kind of go over that and where that came from and the source. And then, of course, we need to talk about this Bravely Default teaser that went up on Twitter because it was pretty cool to see and it got some people pretty excited. Also, if you're new here, consider subscribing. Trying to hit, if possible, 70,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So this weekend coming up, trying to hit 70,000 before then. So hit that sub button, guys, if you're new here. Appreciate it. And let's get started. So Nintendo Italy had on their website fall 2018 when it was talking about the Nintendo Online service. Now, the first place I saw this was on WCCFtech.com, and I've seen their website pop up occasionally on different things when they talk about technology or PS4, Xbox One, or the Switch. So they generally stay on top of some of this stuff. However, what they reported, in their words, was what appeared to be a delay. However, after I posted that image on Twitter they had on their website, a lot of people started sending me messages saying it's always been like that. Looking into it a little further, more than likely what happened here is that they changed it instead of, because it used to be fall 2017. Remember that originally was supposed to come out in 2017, and they just delayed it to 2018. No one's really said when in 2018, they just changed to that. More than likely what happened is they changed the year and forgot to take out the fall prefix. So more than likely that was it, because as soon as it started making the rounds, because it got around the internet in a hurry that Nintendo may have been delaying this to fall 2018, delayed even though we don't really have an actual timetable, and it changed right away. Like I refreshed the page, boom, that fall was gone. It was just 2018 once again. Now, this has brought up some questions as to, are we not really going to see this until fall of 2018? Because I want to see it obviously early 2018. I want them to talk about it at the, what we assume to be January Direct, and then have a decent timetable for us to enter beta, because do you remember we were supposed to be testing this more? I don't really think that means the phone app. I hope that's not the phone app that they wanted us to test. I was hoping they had a little more for us to play around with, whether it's the online cloud save storage. I was hoping we would get some kind of beta, and then a month or two later, then they would expect us to start paying for it, because they don't really have the best track record when it comes to online stuff. So to ask everybody to start paying right away for a promise seems a little bit of a tough sell. But I do think it needs to at least be around in the summertime at the latest. I don't think they should wait till fall of 2018, because that really shows they were just not ready for this at all when the Switch launched. We kind of figure the Switch launched earlier than they wanted it to, just because of how poorly the Wii U is doing, but the fact that the online service may fall all the way into late 2018 kind of cements that idea. Let me know where you guys fall on this. Do you want it to come out later so maybe they get everything right, or are you more in the mindset of let's test it in the beta and help them get it right? Let me know down below, guys. Next up, let's talk about Bravely Default, or Bravely Second. If you're a fan of the games on the 3DS, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I played the first one a good bit on the 3DS. I kind of missed out on Bravely Second, and now after I see this teaser image, I got a little excited like everyone else, because the first thing that came to my mind, as well as it seems like everyone else's, is there a collection or even a sequel, a third game in the series, I guess, with Bravely Second? Is there another game coming to the Switch, or are you moving everything over? We saw it with Monster Hunter Double Cross, where they kind of upscaled it and moved it over to the Switch. I would not have a problem with this. As you see the teaser image here, you can see clearly two Joy-Con controllers in hand, and then a Switch in the stocking behind some Bravely Default artwork. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I really hope this is more or less them kind of teasing it. It actually reminded me a little bit of the Bayonetta teaser. Remember that a while ago where they had almost two different sides to it, and they were the Joy-Con colors? right there, most of us thought, well, Bayonetta, we kind of figured Bayonetta was coming. This is cool because this is a 3DS kind of game that could be making the way over to the Switch. If you throw it in a collection, you price it accordingly, and you put it on the Switch, I think it's an easy sell. You know, I mean, two big RPGs like that on one cartridge, even if one's a download, but I think they can fit on one cartridge. It used to be 3DS games. One cartridge, you put it out there, and then we see if we get maybe a sequel, or maybe this was just them playing around with Holiday. Hey, look, here's a Bravely Default character with some Switch stuff for some reason, you know. Happy holidays. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Next up, let's talk about The Last of Us 2. Now, we've talked about this a bit. We talked about it with the PlayStation Experience, E3, of course, and then there's some controversial opinions about one of the trailers that happened that had some pretty extreme and gratuitous violence. But the one thing everyone's been trying to figure out is, when is this game coming out? There have been a lot of hopefuls that it's coming out in 2018. And there's been a lot of people who are more realistic saying, that's a 2019 game right there. That's not showing up in 2018 because they haven't shown us a lot. And Sony has been known, as they've even apologized and admitted this, to show us stuff way before it's ready, right? I understand they want to get the hype going, the hype train, if you will, but I don't really want to see a game 3 years out. Spider-Man's going to make, probably, we assume, its third E3 appearance here, and I hope that means it's going to have some kind of release date, and I'm sure The Last of Us 2 will follow that same path where it'll be at multiple E3 presentations and conferences. But we did get a little bit of information about, I guess, how The Last of Us 2 is coming along. And according to Neil Druckmann, it's a broken mess. And this was in a recent interview with him for the Game Maker's Notebook, saying, we've got this slither of 5 minutes. Now, how do you make that into tens of hours of experience to look and feel that visceral, that kind of intensity? People don't see that the rest of it, at different stages, is a broken mess. Now, this isn't a surprise to me. Listen, when game development takes place and you're kind of working on this spot and you're working on that spot, and then they come to you and they say, hey, we need something to show. Can you get a section ready? And then they take this one section, like we saw with the with the trailer and everything. They polish it really well, right? With either in-game engines, or they take cinematics and assets and they build this nice little section of the game, as they talk about here. But then the rest of it is wireframes and junk, or it doesn't work well together. It all kind of gets done in separate pieces, and then they tie it all together at the end. I remember hearing something similar like this to Uncharted at one point. So this isn't new or anything. I think it was a great headline, broken mess, right? But no, this is something that's pretty common, especially since we heard about it, I think, the beginning of its development. I don't think they were working on this 4 years ago. I think this is something that started up maybe 2015, maybe. So we'll see, though. We'll see if they have any actual gameplay, maybe a full level at E3, because this is probably going to come out maybe months before something like Death Stranding, I think. Next up, let's talk about Ni no Kuni 2, an RPG that I am really looking forward to. I like the first one a lot. I played it a ton on the PS3, and I've been looking forward to the second one for a while because it looks like they've done some things with the battle system that looks pretty cool. And now, after, of course, getting this delay that kind of bummed us all out, it looks like we're getting some more features, maybe things that are pushing it back a bit, you know, this delay, because they wanted to apparently get in a full kingdom builder. That's right, you're going to be building an entire kingdom, apparently recruiting people, just literally building buildings and stuff inside your kingdom. It kind of gave me a bit of a Dark Cloud feeling for me, the Dark Cloud 1 or even 2, I guess. That kind of vibe, and I like it. So I'm really looking forward to this game. The full trailer is out. You can go check it out. Ni no Kuni 2, of course, that is not out till March 23rd, 2018. If it came out when it was originally supposed to, we would have already been playing it. Most of us, a lot of people probably would have been unwrapping it under the tree right now, because it was supposed to be out back in November at this point. But hey, if they're actually adding this kind of stuff to it, this kind of content, maybe we'll get even another trailer with something else added to it. I'm actually okay with it getting pushed back, if that's the case, if they really are adding stuff like kingdom building and who knows what else we'll get. I think we're also getting some kind of season pass and DLC, I think, but we'll see going forward, because I'm sure we'll get more announcements as we get closer and closer to the March date. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Flog on the Nintendo Switch. Do you remember Flog? Remember, it was golf backwards, obviously, but Flog was that tribute to Satoru Iwata. Do you remember that? Where you would do, if you had a Switch that was on like the version 1.0, and you were in like the home menu, and you took both Joy-Con controllers and you did the directly to you motion, it would boot up Golf from the NES, because that was one of the games that Mr. Iwata had worked on, had a hand in. And according to a lot of people, because Nintendo was very, very quiet on this entire thing, they didn't want to talk about it. And it's starting to make more and more sense why, as most people had to kind of speculate, why is it not... why are they not talking about it, right? Why is it locked away for a certain date in July, for example? Why don't they just make it so we can do it whenever? Well, according to a data miner now by the name of Michael, it's just gone at this point with update 4, and they kind of replaced it with just junk code. This was on Twitter. Switch update 4.0.0 stubs Flog, all code to launch it removed, and Flog executable overwritten with signed garbage. Now, this is something that people are trying to figure out. Why did they add it in the first place? Well, it seemed to be a tribute, and a lot of people even said in Japanese tradition they have omamaris, which basically are like good luck charms or blessings that are added in. In this case, they wanted to do something to Mr. Iwata. So it's almost like Satoru Iwata is kind of looking over the Switch. And that's what a lot of people on Twitter and Reddit basically speculated about with the Japanese traditions. Well, according to them, at this point, if you open the omamori and you kind of just have it out there, it loses its good luck, its blessings, basically everything it was designed to be, which was kind of this thing that was hidden away on the Switch that some people knew about, but most of us did not. And the fact that, I guess, we booted it and played it is kind of defeating the purpose of it in their tradition. So a lot of people are now speculating, and they believe that this has been completely removed because of that. And what's probably going to happen, they'll probably add something else back in, maybe one of his other games or something, and we won't know about it until, I guess, people data mine it again, they find it, they launch it, it gets removed again. And at this point, you know what, I guess if they add something back in, I guess don't go looking for it. I mean, yeah, look for it, but you know what, at this point, maybe we don't launch it, you know? Maybe we just kind of leave it alone, leave it on the Switch. It's something for them to have, you know? I don't know what they'll do at this point. I mean, they could do anything with it. They could add it into maybe a set of Joy-Con controllers that they maybe launch, and they have just something even printed on the board, or who knows. It could even be something designed into like a game or something that they launch down the road that they kind of hide. I mean, it seems like something very personal for the employees at Nintendo that were close to Mr. Iwata, so they'll probably figure something out. I don't think they're going to leave it how it is without that. He'll be attached to the Switch in some way, I think, from the developers and programmers behind the system. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, guys. Really helps out the video. If not, hit the dislike. Leave a bunch of comments down below. I need to know about the online service, definitely. Tell me where you think this is going to kind of fall. What's going to happen here? Are we going to get it early to test, or you think they're just going to launch it after summer? Maybe it really is fall 2018, or do you think they surprise everybody at this January presser, and at the end they go, hey, it's available now. Go get on your Switch and join us on the online community. Also, let me know what you think about something like Last of Us 2. Do you think that's going to launch in 2018, or is that definitely a 2019 release like I think most of us believe now? But I want to hear what you guys say. And then, of course, Bravely Default, would you like to see a compilation of something like that go to the Switch? Or did you play it enough on the 3DS and you're looking for a sequel maybe? Or, hey, maybe both. That's it for now, guys. I'll see you next time.